Hello, YouTubers that like to listen to ghost stories. Of course, this one doesn't have anything to do with me. This wasn't a personal experience. This was one that happened to my mom and my grandmother. The same grandmother I used to live with, the same one in the other ghost story, I had stayed at her house for a week, tending to her dogs while they were all going down to SeaWorld. But my great-grandmother passed away in 1993. And she lived a few blocks away from my grandmother's house, or from my grandmother. And when I lived with my grandmother, I used to cruise down there on my bicycle, or even in one of the, like my granddad's truck or whatever. And I'd hang out with my great grandmother for a while. Sometimes I'd hang out with her the whole weekend. And I had a good rapport with her. I could tell her almost anything, and she wouldn't judge me. She would, most of the time she'd listen, but sometimes she'd actually throw advice my way. If she kind of saw something that, needed to be kind of fixed, or, well, maybe you could approach it from this angle. And it was cool. I didn't feel like I was hindered. Sometimes you can talk to one parent better than you can the other, or you can talk to a friend better than you can your own family. And this is just the way I felt with my great-grandmother. Anyway, when she passed away, my grandmother at one point started going down to her mother's house, my great-grandmother, and cleaning up. I didn't even know she was doing this. And I was in my teenage years, I believe. I can't remember. Might have been, but a little bit in my early teens. But anyway, she would go down there and clean up. Kind of dust off the countertops and clean out the tub and vacuum the floor, stuff like this. Well, my grandmother saw something, and as I posted in another video about family's hard, or family life is hard, this is the same grandmother that doesn't like to talk about things that happened to her or have happened to her, So I don't know a whole lot about her past, even though she's my grandmother, and I lived with her at one time. So it's hard when you're dealing with somebody like that. So I didn't know any of this. I didn't know she was slipping off and going down there to her mother's house to clean up. So my mom was over one day, and her and my grandmother were talking, and my mom said, well, you're getting too up in age to go be down there by yourself cleaning up. I'll go do it. And I didn't know they had talked about this. So they're sneaky. So my mom starts going down there. And my mom said that she was in the bathroom washing out the tub. And my great-grandmother had a nice big bedroom in it. It was spacious. She had a recliner in there. She had an old card table that she had all of her paperwork on from like stocks and bonds and property that she owned. And she had I don't know if it was even a queen-size bed in the corner. It was a smaller bed. I mean, two people couldn't fit on that bed. And so she lived by herself. Wasn't no need, And she had a little nightstand that had a telephone on it. And she had another little stand, I call it a nightstand, but it was right next to her recliner. And then she had a bathroom that was kind of L-shaped and a walk-in closet, all in that same bedroom. I'm thinking, geez. It was one of the biggest rooms in her house, a bedroom. And she could also sit back and watch TV up in those cabinets up front. You could just open them up, and there's a TV sitting back there. She had it made. She hardly ever came out of the bedroom. The rest of the house was pretty much open. There was only one place that you could possibly hide in that house outside of somewhere in that bedroom, which was the spare bedroom, or the hallway going down to the spare bedroom, which was on the same side as the main master suite, if you will. But my mother was in the bathroom of in that main bedroom, and she heard some papers rustling, and she turned off the water, and she thought to herself, I'm in this house by myself. Somebody's in here with me. Uh-oh. And she starts panicking. So she eases out of the bathroom, and as soon as she steps out through the threshold into the bedroom, she saw something out of her right peripheral vision. or the right side of her peripheral vision. And it looked like somebody had just rounded the corner going to the left outside of the bedroom. So she followed it. She couldn't make out what it was. It looked human, and it kind of rounded the corner. She followed it, and as soon as you step out of my great-grandmother's little bedroom, you can see pretty much in every other room. The only room you couldn't see in is if this shadow figure or whatever had gone to the right and gone towards the front door, or gone towards the little L-shaped hallway to the spare bedroom and the bathroom that had the actual laundry room in there. So this thing went to the left. So she could see into the little den. She could see into I don't know if that would be called the living room. Well, that'd be the living room. She could see into the dining room area, and she could almost see a lot into the kitchen area, which had one of long island tables there, or countertops with a sink on it and everything. And my mom walked on around where she could see everything, and there's also a side door you can actually see from the bedroom. And my mom said there was nobody there. And she thought to herself, that was probably her grandmother, my great-grandmother, that was rustling those papers. So from then on, she still went down there. She's got bigger cojones than I do. I don't know. It'd be hard for me to go back down there. But my mother, she still went back. You know, she still went down there to clean up periodically. They wasn't like a every week thing. It was probably once a month or something, because nobody was living in the house, and I think they had the air conditioning stuff turned off, so it wouldn't be running up a power bill. No lights were really on. Maybe one would be on, but well, I doubt it. And so there wasn't really any activity in the house, and I don't know if the phone lines were cut. I can't remember. I didn't know much about that. Never tried to call the number because there ain't nobody to pick up the phone. But it still had power because my mother or grandmother couldn't have used a vacuum cleaner. But anyway, that was the story. My mom, like I said, though, my mom would go down there, and she would get my great-grandmother's old radio. Had one of them old wooden radios that was almost the size of one of those freezers that you see in a convenience store, that you slide the door open to get to the ice cream sandwiches and the ice cream cones and stuff. She had a stereo that on the top you could slide it like that, and it was made out of wood, and it had you could slide that top on it, and you could see the record player. You could slide the other side, and it had like a compartment there that you could store all your records and whatnot. And a big radio. My mom would just go down there and crank that radio up, and then she'd go through the house working, so she wouldn't have to hear papers rustling. All she'd hear is music. So that's what she told me. She said that it spooked her, but it didn't stop her from going down there. But I don't know what my grandmother saw. I don't know if she was staring right at the ghost, or she saw basically the same thing. You know, like she exited the room and saw something round the corner real quick, like somebody just run out the room. I don't know. She doesn't like to talk about stuff like that or anything. I can't get her to talk about what she did yesterday, kind of thing. I mean, that's just the way she is. She's very, very secretive about stuff, but that's that hard family life. But anyway, it was just an interesting story. It didn't happen to me. I'd actually thought about going down there after I'd heard about it. Taking me, my brother, and my half sister going down there one night, because this was back when my aunt and uncle, before they had they had already bought the property, and they had the dock built, and their house is built actually on top of my great grandmother's house, and their alternate garage and storage building is built on top of the same garage storage building that my great grandmother had on the property. So they just built on top of the property, or the buildings, the house and stuff that she had, or the foundation basically. And but there were numerous times when they were tearing that house down to some degree, taking out the windows and stuff. They didn't just get in there with a wrecking ball kind of thing and tear it down that way. It was a slow process, and I thought numerous times about going down there with my brother and sister and half sister and seeing if we could do an EVP session at night, but we never did. I actually went down there by myself a few times to go out there on the dock after my aunt and uncle had finally gotten that thing built. I'd go out and sit. I don't know if it's called a cabana or whatever, but it had a little screened-in area at the end of the dock where you could sit down and had a little table and all that, running a sink and working electricity and all that stuff out there. And I'd get out there with this MP3 player and drink a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But kept waiting for my great-grandmother to maybe make an appearance, but I never saw anything. But anyway, it is what it is. Kind of freaky. I don't know if it was an intelligent haunt or if it was a residual, because I still don't understand the science behind a residual. Intelligent haunt means that it can communicate with you, it can interact, but residual is something that I don't even know how you can even come up with that, or how that even works. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it didn't happen to me. But anyway, peace out, ghost hunters.